Baseball Hut back here live to do a short video, just sort of reaction to the Mets 5-0 win on opening day. Got some interesting observations, and it's sort of a nice thing to talk about as we start this live stream. Not going to be a very long live stream, just wanted to get one out there. If you've been following the channel the last few days, I've been sick, under the weather, at work most of the week, and have not been myself. Hope your host has been off kilter the last week. I haven't been feeling good, and dealing with this cold, and I did not, got out of the doctor, go to urgent care. I didn't feel I needed it. I didn't really need it. Feeling better today. I felt even more better due to the fact the Mets won 5-0 against the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays had played really well coming into the series. They were 4-2 to start the season. They're not going to be a good team. I was looking at that team today, boy. They don't have, they have nothing in that lineup. Hello, A Prodigy. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? And of course, I was looking at that lineup. The first three hitters are pretty good, but then after that, you have Andres Gimenez batting cleanup. You have Andres Gimenez batting cleanup in that lineup. You're in trouble. Yes, Greg, sure. The channel's hit 6,000 subs. Due to the fact that I've been posting a lot of shorts, a lot of highlights. I'll have another highlight later from today's game. But I just wanted to sort of do everything I can on this channel to make it very healthy. It's a very healthy channel, but I just wanted to sort of do this live stream. But yes, the channel's now at 6,000 subs. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But the Met game was interesting today because, there's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of stuff at the ballpark. Get to celebrate the 2024 Mets. That's past us, which was, obviously Francisco Lindor got one of the bigger hands. Juan Soto got a big hand. Pete Alonso got a big hand. I was surprised that Jesse Winker, the hand he got. Jesse Winker hadn't been here that long. He got such a round of applause, man. For a guy that hit 3 home runs in the regular season, people just love that guy. And it was. I always love watching the introductions when we get the season started. I mean, that's really the best part of the year. And then it doesn't matter what year it is. And if you have a really good team, it's really great to watch. And it was great to watch today. Been lucky enough or unlucky enough to be able to watch. Well, even if I worked, I would have been able to watch these first few games. Just sort of observations. But first of all, let's get into this game today. Tylor Megill, who pitches great in April. He's a great April pitcher. Had all his pitches working, but once that sixth inning came and he couldn't find the strike zone, got the hook. Mendy got the hook pretty quick on him. But he pitched really well for 5 1/3 innings, did not give up any runs. He's pitched really well to start the season. And like I said, he is so good in April. If you remember in 2022, he won 5 starts. And what was the record they said that Ron said in his last 7 starts, the Mets are 7-0? So that goes back to last year. The problem with Megill has been 2 things. One is command is in and out, in and out, in and out. And 2, he tends to, actually, it's a couple things. 1, he tends to get hurt. 2, his command's all over the place, and he gives up home runs. I didn't give up any home runs today, but that command can be a little wonky. I was 8-0. Thank you, A Prodigy. 8-0. So, this was a fun game for us to watch with him. But when he starts to lose that stuff, boy, you move on. You move on pretty quickly. And they got the hook out on him very, very quickly. Hello, Stanley Babbage. Alonso's more disciplined at the plate. The biggest thing is, and we saw this in October last year, he's hitting the ball up the middle and he's hitting the ball to right field. And when he's doing that, he is impossible to get out. And he's impossible to get out late in the game. Last few years, all he's been doing is pulling the ball. And when you pull the ball all the time, you're just going to hit. Like, look what's going on with Vientos, how he's hitting. He's doing a terrible job. Now, I would mention, please, of course, like this video. The more you like it, the more YouTube pushes it out. I don't expect a lot of views on this video because I don't do a lot of live streams. and I'm doing it on my phone, but I want to do it directly into YouTube today. But Lindor had a big game. Was on base 3 times. After coming back from his son being born, he's hit really well. He's had some big hits. Had a double to lead the game off on the first pitch. He was clearly, I will say this, the umpires are so lazy. It was so lazy in this game, and then lazy in every game because they know they don't have to worry about getting the calls right. It's a big problem in Major League Baseball. You got to get the calls right. But when you know there's going to be a robot or there's going to be replay, why bother getting it right? But that's how bad it's gotten. I knew once the replay was brought in years ago that the umpiring was going to get worse, and it has, and it's going to get worse. That always gets worse, and before you know, we'll have the robot ump, which didn't seem to be a big deal in spring training, to be honest with you. But hello, Jules. Hello, Rocky Marciano. Yeah, so Lindor had a big game, scored 2 runs, had stolen bases, had a double, scored the first run in the first inning on the 2-run home run by Pete Alonso. Excuse me. He's got 10 RBIs so far in the first 7 games, which is huge. Obviously, I think Pete's going to have a big year. I've been saying that for the last week or so. He's going to hit 45 home runs easy. Maybe hit 50 again. And then we'll see what kind of contract the Mets give him the next time around. Because he hits that amount of money and hits that amount of home runs, he's going to get a lot of money. That's pretty obvious to me, at least from the Mets. I don't know about anybody else. But he had a big home run in that. Now, I'm going to say this, and I said this in the other, I forget what the hell video I said it in. Hello, behold. The thing is that the one thing I've noticed about what's going on in Major League Baseball is that the one thing I've noticed about Major League Baseball is that baseball is starting to bounce, and I think there's a rabbit in that baseball, folks. I think there's a rabbit in that baseball, and because that rabbit, I think that that's a big reason why these home runs are going out like crazy. And I don't think it's the torpedo bat, and I think Gary mentioned it today that he thought it was that he was sort of alluding to it during the game. There is a rabbit in that baseball, and baseball doesn't like it when you talk about them playing around with the baseballs. They don't like that. So they're going to be pushing this torpedo bat for a while. I'm not a big fan of Manfred, but the home run Pete hit was not a home run. It wasn't going out. There's been quite a few baseballs, especially in the Yankee game last week. I guess it was last Saturday, where the Yankees hit like 9 home runs or whatever it was. A lot of those balls did not look like they were going out. The first ball that was hit on the first pitch by Paul Goldschmidt, I didn't think it was going out because I was watching that live, and I was shocked that it went out the way it did. So it was a very strange kind of situation with the way the games have been. They mentioned it. They really mentioned it, folks. They really mentioned it in the game. So I don't think the torpedo bat makes that big of a difference. Horseface. Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge isn't using it, and it hasn't stopped him. It's the baseball. The baseball has been juiced. They're always changing the bats all the time. It's only when the baseball gets wound too tight or gets wound too loosely that we have this issue. And when that happens, you'll notice it. And you notice it right away. This is April, and the ball's jumping like crazy all over the place. So I thought it wasn't that warm today to make any kind of sense of that baseball going out in the first inning. It's 65 degrees in April, but it's not that hot out. It's not hot. It's not 90 degrees, If it was 90 degrees, that would make sense to me. But very strange situation that's been going on. Now the Mets played. They played better defense, although there was a play by Siri. He sort of misplayed a ball that turned a out, or a single into a triple to George Springer in the middle of the game. Mets have to show up their defense a little bit. They've been a little sloppy to start the season, just to say the least. Now in the sixth inning, Mets scored another 3 runs. Lindor got on with a walk. Then Juan Soto behind me, hit an RBI double. That was pretty good. That was pretty cool to see him get a hit during the game. He's been sort of had a sluggish start, but I don't worry about him. His approach is still the same. He's still getting on base, and he scored a run on the RBI double to Nimmo after they walked Pete, and then Starling Marte had a professional bat and had an RBI sacrifice fly, which was great to see. Obviously, now again, Omar Vientos, he needs to go back to what made him good last year, and that's hit the ball to center field, right center field. Right now, he's pulling everything, and he's trying to, duplicate what he did last year. He can duplicate it, but he can't be putting all this pressure on himself. Hello, Muttley and Love. Hi, how are you? So he has to do a better job of doing what he was doing last year. And they're going to keep throwing that pitch until he makes the adjustment of taking the ball and hitting the ball to left center, to right center field, and to right field, and to center field. The batting average is not going to get any higher. It's going to look like he did 2 years ago. Luis Angel Acuna has done very little. I know they like his defense. His defense is pretty good. But Beatty has done nothing with the bat. Nothing. Which is not a surprise to me. I've been on his case. I've been complaining about him for 2 years. Seen enough of him. And he's done absolutely nothing. And Acuna hasn't done much better. People have been begging for the Mets to bring up Acuna and having him play. So far, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. So, now I would mention about Luis Angel Acuna. He did not play well last year in AAA for the Mets. And it was a big reason why they didn't call him up in September. They only called him up because they had nobody to play shortstop on a regular basis. That's the one thing that doesn't go in a slump is defense. And his defense is excellent, no matter where they play him. He's got great hands, great range, pretty good arm, and gets to the ball really good. Very good instincts. He's going to the base paths. He does a lot of good things. He's a winning player. But not a lot with the bat. Not a lot with the bat. Not a lot with the bat. Right now I'm watching get smacked down on the side. Freaking Paul Heyman. But yeah, so I'm not gonna throw Acuna and Beatty out the door yet. Especially Acuna. But can't wait till Jeff McNeil comes back. You're gonna see a big difference with the at-bats. Much more professional bats and obviously better results. You hope better results. And we'll see how that goes. I am not... The Met farm system, and they played the game on SNY last night, the Syracuse team. There is nothing down there, folks. There is nothing. There's no everyday players that's going to help the Mets. We got Brant Sprout down there, or up there in Syracuse. We got Blade Tidwell up there. Blade Tidwell pitched last night. He didn't pitch well. Okay, his first start was good. His last night's start was not good. Brant Sprout got his head handed to him his first start last week. Dom Hammer, who was a prospect, is in limbo, and he pitched well the other day, but he's not. He's a back end starter at best, and he has not pitched well in AAA at all in his career. That's why I must not hold on to him, and protect him for the Rule 5 draft this past offseason, but. There is not a lot down in AAA. I'm just going to be honest with you. From what I've seen going over that lineup last night. So, Beatty and Acuna going down is probably better for their careers to get their value up. Just overall. Because I think the Mets are going to get to a point where they're going to have to play one of them until McNeil gets back. and figure out what to do with the other one. But then neither one of them is really accounted for themselves well. And other than Pete Alonso, this offense has been sluggish. But that's all right. It's early in the season. The pitchers are always ahead of the hitters anyway. And once the weather gets really warm, once we get into the middle of late May and early June, it's going to start, you're going to see some home runs. You didn't see any home runs yet? Wait. But that's why the home run ball going out the way it has been concerning. But pitching. Reed Garrett came in, and I'm happy that he's pitched well. Was not a believer in him last year, but I like it when players shut me up. He pitched really well today. Came in when McGill basically walked himself out of the ballpark, and he got 2 big outs on 2 strikeouts. And again, that lineup is terrible. I mean, you cannot have Andres Gimenez batting. You cannot have Andres Gimenez batting cleanup if you expect to win. Hello, John Toledo. How are you? Talento. John Talento. I'll get your name straight. But, that's not a good lineup. It really is not. I don't expect them to get out of the cellar, to be honest with you folks. Not the Yankees lineup. They're not even the Red Sox at this point. The Red Sox took a big step forward, in my opinion, with what they've been doing. And the Rays are still the Rays, even though they're homeless. I did watch the game the other night on, I guess what was it on? It was on MLB Network. And I got a chance to watch them from Steinbrenner Field. That doesn't look so bad when they're outside. They look like a real team outside. That's a horrible stadium, by the way. When you got to play inside, ugh. And I thought it was nice seeing the Mets play outside, have the roof open on, and Miami on Wednesday. That was nice. And obviously, the Baltimore Orioles should have done a hell of a lot. They didn't do anything. They should have done something. But the Blue Jays are not a very good team. But the Mets sweep them. Don't be surprised the Mets sweep them. Because that lineup sucks. Surprised they were 4-2 to start the year. And A.J. Minter came in. He struck out the side in the 7th inning. I think he walked the batter, but he looked pretty good. So far, so good with him. Got to keep an eye on him just because of that hip, And guys that have been coming back from this hip surgery have come back pretty good. Obviously, David Peterson had that hip surgery about a year and a half ago, and he came back and pitched really well last year. He's pitched well so far this year, and then 1 start. And then Max Kranick, the hometown boy, pitched really well. He looks really good out there. The Mets signed, I think they signed him a year and a half ago, and had him for a 2-year deal. So he's really given them a lot there. He's been really good, and it's nice to see a hometown boy and a big Met fan doing well. So that was fun to see. I mean, really. And the Mets got the win. And the Mets continued their winning ways at home. And just be great winning all the time, especially around the season. And of course, this is what we want to see the Mets play well. And we're getting what we want, and that's what I want. And then tomorrow they send Griffin Canning out tomorrow. See if he pitches well again. He pitched well against the Astros his first start. The Mets have high hopes for him. That was the rumor when they signed him, that they thought he could be like an ace-like starter for them, because he does have a big, resume, being a top, pick, I guess back in 2017. So the Mets are very high on him and being able to eliminate pitches and refine some of his pitches, which is really the basis behind the pitching lab, is to hone in on a pitch that is not used much but is very good. Correct the flaws in it, and of course, make it better, and maybe eliminate a pitch that's a bad pitch, but you use it because it's just a pitch that you throw. So they're gonna do that, and Clay Holmes, I thought, pitched a little bit better in his second start at Miami. He got kind of betrayed with his defense. The Mets played a terrible game on Tuesday and a terrible game on Wednesday. Even though they won Wednesday, the defense was terrible in that game. It was terrible. It's absolutely terrible in that game. That was the game Holmes pitched on Wednesday. His 4 2/3 innings, gave up 1 earned run, I believe, 5 strikeouts. But, he's got to, make these innings quick. He's not in relief anymore. Okay, so he's got to be able to do a better job, folks, of making these innings quicker than he has. And Kodai Senga pitched pretty good, considering he hasn't pitched much. I thought he was pretty good on Tuesday. Now, a couple of things. It's like I said, it wasn't going to be a very long live stream. I don't have another short later, another highlight from the game. But a couple of things. I've been following Mets baseball a long time. So, other than 1985, that's where it began. That's really, today was probably the second most exciting beginning to a game we've seen since 1985. The ending wasn't as exciting as 1985. 1985 was like the rolling out the circus. Today wasn't like that. We had a great start to they introduced the big player, which they did in 1985. That was Gary Carter. But it had a great ending that's probably the greatest opening day game in Mets history. And that rolled out the greatest show on earth. It was the opening act to the greatest show on earth, which was 1986. So that's kind of where it began. Now, a couple of things about the pregame show. And, because I was home today, I planned to take off. They had Jose Reyes on SNY. He was one of the analysts, and it was great to see him. It was also great to see Jose dressed up as an adult today. Usually he just sort of shows up like he's going to do a song in Spanish, some rap in Spanish, and just start singing. And it was great to see him kind of dressed like an adult. They didn't get him in a tie yet, but he had a turtleneck and he looked like he was a spy, in some spy movie in South America. But at least he's one step closer to looking like an adult, which I thought was funny, And finally, I want to thank people for subscribing to the channel for the past month, because we've gotten to 6,000 subscribers for the channel. And I thought I was going to have to wait till July to get there. I sort of figured out to do some shorts, do some highlights with shorts, and that was big. So it's been fun to be able to get the 6,000 subscribers in the past month, because I've worked very hard these years, and we're going to do more highlights on the channel, as long as it doesn't give me a problem. That's why I did this live stream tonight. Hello, Naomi. How you doing? Yeah, so I'm going to keep doing these live streams if I can, on a fairly regular. I always say that, but I never do. But I'm going to try and just do them. I didn't need to come on after the game like everybody else did. I need to do that. Hold on, I need a drink. Look. Yeah, so I didn't need to do a live stream like everybody else. But the channel's hit over 6,000 subscribers. I'm very proud of that, and I have no help. I have no help here, which is fine. I'm used to that. And over the last 2 days, last time I checked, the channel's had 115,000 views in the last 48 hours. So 2 days, 48 hours. Pretty damn good. So I'm proud of that too, and it's because of the highlights and do various things on the channel. So trying to use every tool at my disposal to make this channel grow, and I'm going to do that. But this was a great win today. Everyone's great, and of course tomorrow let's play at 7 o'clock. I can't believe they scheduled the game so late tomorrow. It's gonna be cold, and it's gonna be cold tomorrow too. And it's supposed to rain. Supposed to be very rainy in the next few days. And then they play on Sunday 1:40. Then they play 3 games against the Marlins. And they have a day game on Wednesday. Then they're off, and then they play the Sacramento Athletics, another homeless team, or as I like to call them, the Philadelphia, Kansas City, here we come, Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas Athletics. But in other words, they're homeless. Oh, hey, Prodigy's going tomorrow. Okay, good. Stay warm, stay dry. You won't have the fanfare you had there today. When they had the 2000 Mets out there, they had the 2015 Mets out there, throwing out the first pitch. which was great to see. Well, 3 pitchers and one outfielder. You couldn't have found like a weird group. Although Al Leiter was there and Bartolo was out there. It would have been nice to see Noah out there. That would have been nice. Although I think Noah probably thinks he could probably pitch again. We're only going to get Matt Harvey to throw a pitch out again. That would have been nice if we saw him. He'd have to come by himself, I would think. And certain players, they need to come out and throw out a first pitch by themselves. I think Matt Harvey's one of them. And even though he's had all kinds of problems, we learned a lot of stuff about him in the last few years. Didn't realize he had such a bad drug problem. But anyway, on that wonderful note, in the end of the live stream, I want to thank you for coming by. It was a good Met win today. Again, every win is good. And it's very early in the season. Something to be down about, something to be crazy about. The biggest thing is that Pete's gotten off to a good start. And I think he's going to have a big, huge year. He's going to have so many guys on base. So that is huge. So thank you for watching. Have a good night. And I'll see you later.